Good day and welcome to another segment of In the Spotlight. I'm Superintendent Michael Richard, and today I'm very pleased to be joined with our mayor, Will Reichelt. Mayor, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Now, I know the town knows a lot about you, but for those who might be new or aren't following you on social media, tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up, which schools you went to.
I grew up, obviously, in West Springfield. I've been here my whole life. I went to, I went to Mitnick Methodist for preschool, John Ashley for kindergarten, Fawsey 1 through 5. Then I went to Piper Road, which was the old 6th grade before we knocked down that.
The old wing of the high school.
Before we knocked the high school down, before the middle school was open. So 7th and 8th, I went to middle school. Then I graduated from the old high school, long before this gorgeous building was built. And then I went to college, stayed around here, went to HCC, Westfield State, and then got my law degree at Winnick.
And you also got your MBA as well, right?
They're expensive plaques hanging on my wall. It's very nice.
That's good. That's good. So, as mayor, let's just talk about some things that you perceive maybe as the greatest challenges facing West Springfield right now. And I know that last night a decision was made to actually lower the tax rate. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So for 4 years straight, I've been here for 3. Mayor Sullivan before me for 1. We haven't raised taxes, and by not doing that, we've been able to keep the tax rate steady. But this year is the first year we've been able to lower it. So across the board, the council did decide how to set the rate between residential and commercial last night. But we knew, regardless of what they decided, that the tax rate overall would be lower, which is a huge accomplishment, I think, in the fact that we haven't really cut a lot. I mean, we've cut some kind of where we see waste and things that we think are redundant, but as you know, we've been able to invest in the schools and public safety over the past 4 years, as well as kind of keeping the taxes steady. So part of that credit to that is the state. They've been good with lending us money, but also good budgeting by departments and making sure that money that's not used is kind of reallocated different ways. So overall, I'm very excited about that. But challenges-wise, we're still going to have a lot of challenges. As you know, with changing demographics in our community, with 55 different countries where students come from, with 35 different languages, and continuing to invest in education to make sure we don't lag and make sure we sell that to the public as well, as why we need to do that is important. But also the fact that we're the crossroads in England. We're the smallest city and are surrounded by 5 other cities in Hampton County. The casino's opening, the region's changing. A lot of our commercial tax base that we talk about is retail, and over the next 20, 30 years, that'll dramatically change with Amazon and everything else happening online. So kind of getting ourselves ready for the future is a big thing we got to focus on right now. Not kind of sitting on our laurels and say we haven't raised taxes in 4 years. That's great, but businesses could close tomorrow, and we'd be in a tough position if that happens.
For sure. And there's been some nice development along the Route 5, the Riverdale Road corridor. Is there anything that you want to highlight there between Riverdale or Memorial?
Well, one thing the community always focuses on, the business community especially, is highlighting Riverdale. That's where everyone wants to be. But over the past few years, we've really been able to focus also on Memorial with Fowles and Sons opening. The McDonald's was redone. The Chipotle opened. Skechers opened. Obviously, the Biggie's always doing well with record year after year. And there's plans in the next 5-ish years to redo the entire Memorial Road, add bike paths on both sides, and have split lanes with better sidewalks and all that. So we're really trying to focus on Memorial as well, because it's the cut through from Springfield to Agawam and all those communities that crisscross. So there's a lot of traffic on that road. Everyone likes to focus on Riverdale Road, but Riverdale Road is the real estate's becoming so expensive because everyone wants to be there, and it gets so much traffic that we're hoping to turn Memorial into like the second Riverdale.
So let's talk about Memorial for a second. The Morgan Sullivan Bridge
Yes.
is going to be renovated, rebuilt, reconstructed over the next couple of years. Is there anything that people at home should know about that project?
I would say, so there's a website, and we've shared it, and it's out there, and we can probably share it again. That would encourage everyone to sign up for it. You can get the alerts of what's going on, because the feedback we've got from a lot of people is if they know about it, they can change what they're doing and how they do it. And we're going to try to get as much information out there as possible via social media, our website, Channel 15, everything we can do. But I would just say have patience. It's something that really needs to be done. This is a bridge that is old. It's a huge connector between our two communities. I think that's what is going to make this difficult over the next couple of years. But I've met with a contractor. I've met with the project manager. They're willing to work as hard as they can to hopefully get done early, working with DOT in the state. But a lot of it is have patience and understand that there will be traffic there on both sides over the next couple of years. And unfortunately, CSX doesn't make a better neighbor on the other side with the crossing over Front Street. But we're going to try to update information as much as possible. We do have signs coming out soon, digital signs to say when the Front Street crossing is blocked, which we hope will help alleviate traffic on the other side. But right now, it's going to be tough over the next couple of years.
Good. So people obviously want information, but people want to be involved as well. Your brother Chris was actually scheduled to join us today, and he was not able to. But he sits on the capital budget committee in town. That's just one example of ways that people can be involved in West Springfield and how to really make a difference in the town. Are there other ways that you could suggest if people want to get involved with making this community a better community?
Absolutely. And I've said over and over again, we wouldn't really be able to function with all the volunteers we have, whether it be on the planning board, the zoning board, the capital program planning committee, running for office too. It's not like they're paid a lot of money. So there's tons of ways to get involved. We're actually going to release a video and a press statement soon asking for volunteers because we have openings on the ZBA. We have openings on the Conservation Commission and the Tree Committee. So while some of those things may not seem like as important as you may think, they all play a pivotal role in how we kind of administer the government every day. And we don't have the staff to kind of do that, so we rely a lot on the town. And for folks in town, it helps kind of decide what your community is going to look like and how it's going to respond to things and how it's going to grow and develop. So all those committees, regardless of which one it is, even the Disability Commission, the Council on Aging, all play a big role in kind of how our community moves forward.
Right. So the holiday season is upon us. We're just Thanksgiving's 2 days away. As a matter of fact, we'll be meeting with our comrades from across the river in Agawam to celebrate the annual Rotary Luncheon today. But what are some things that are going to be happening in town between now and the new year that people can be involved in, engaged in?
There's a ton of different events. We have the Christmas tree lighting coming up. We have the Bright Nights bus tour.
Park and Rec has a lot of activities. Santa's house.
Santa's house opens. I mean, there's so much going on, and it just not just now. I mean, there is a lot going on because of the holiday, but overall throughout the year, there's a ton of stuff going on in West Springfield because Park and Rec does an incredible job, and we have a ton of businesses and kind of social groups that put on a lot of stuff as well. So the tour of homes that the Boys and Girls Club puts on is an awesome event, which takes place the first week of December. And I'm sure there's an endless list that I haven't memorized of all the things that are going to be happening, but it's definitely a great place to kind of be in the wintertime. Hopefully over the next few years we can expand the lighting we have downtown because I've got some complaints on that we don't have enough. But definitely like the flags that are on the Common right now that come down next Sunday, that's the Lions Club that does that. So there's so many different organizations that put on a lot of stuff that make this community such a better place.
Right. So social media is one way that you really choose to share a lot of information. So talk to the community about how they can find you on social media and some of the ways that you're using it creatively to message out the things that you're doing and the things that are happening in town.
I would say we use that because it's a very easy tool to get information out there. When I was running for office, I actually had almost deleted my Facebook and social media before I chose to run just because social media is social media and it can get annoying at times. But the fact that people from all age groups use it, so kids in high school up to my grandparents are on Facebook. So you get kind of everyone covered. And if they want to find out information, they can. So you can just search Will Reichelt and you can grab one of the pages or the town page and just kind of follow along. We kind of put as much information as possible just so that people kind of understand what we're doing. They know what their government does, or what the health department does, what the DPW does, so that when they're paying that tax bill, they go, oh yeah, this is how they pave the roads, or this is how they make this decision, so that they're not wondering like, what do I, people complain about paying taxes, what do I get for it? We're trying to show them what they get for it, and kind of how they can get more involved. If they have questions, ask, and we'll try to answer it, and just be available. We had, originally, my predecessors all have open office hours, but we tried to kind of extend beyond that, because not everyone could even come down during the workday or after work. So if you have a question, you just want to email, call, or just put it on Facebook, find a good response with that.
And how should they reach you on?
However they want, whatever is easier. I would say, but what we try to highlight too on social media is if you just have a question because you're driving down the street and you see a sign up or a guardrail that might need to be fixed or something like that, social media is fine, or an email. But if it's something serious, like a bear was chasing a dog this summer, I wouldn't recommend tagging me in a Facebook post to that. That would be a call to police or the fire department type of thing. So it really depends on what the question is. If it's just you just are curious about something, social media is great. But if it's an emergency or something really needs to be fixed, call the police department.
You mentioned talking to or sharing out information about how certain departments are making decisions. So last week, you and I did a message about inclement weather and how the school department makes the decision about inclement weather and whether there will be school and the timing of those decisions. What should residents know during the winter months about what DPW is doing, central maintenance and clearing roads and sidewalks, and how can they get more information?
Well, that'd be a great subject for another video. But also, a lot of it is, and it's tough because every community is different. So I worked in Agawam for a little bit, and I remember how they clear roads is different from us. They rely more on their own DPW versus where we have a lot more contractors come in with bigger trucks and different trucks. So in our community is different. We have more heavy main roads that we're responsible for. But really, what DPW does, they focus on roads. Central maintenance, they focus on the schools and the buildings and the parking lots. And generally, it really depends on the storm. Like as we said in our message, if the snow starts earlier, they're going to come in earlier. If they don't really know what's going to happen, they may send a crew out to just salt and clear the intersections and the hills where we know there's a lot of accidents can happen. And then as the storm develops, we'll call in more people. But as we saw with this last storm, what's forecasted and what happens can change. And it's hard when it changes and you have the next crew coming in, but they're an hour out. So now it's been snowing heavy for an hour, now you're behind. It's tough. But they do a really good job. When you're working 18 hours straight, it can be tough to kind of keep plowing and deal with drivers on the road. And I plowed for 10 years, and it's not always the best, most enjoyable thing to do, to work a 24-hour storm and have people in a parking lot shooting by you because they just think you're the plow guy.
Right. But everybody in town, as well as in the school department, always focusing on student and community member safety first. So we're doing everything that we can to clear roads.
And I would say
sidewalks.
that's why we have the staff that comes in for both the schools and the town, is to make sure the roads are safe. Now, that doesn't mean during the middle of a storm you should try to test out your four-wheel drive and shoot down a side street that's covered in snow. But it means that the focus of the DPW and central maintenance, especially for school, is to make sure the roads are clear, the sidewalks are clear, and that it's as safe as it possibly can be. Now, it is New England. It does snow, ice. That's a reality here, and it's been a reality for a million years, literally. But that's what they focus on, is making sure those roads and those routes are safe, because we don't want to force kids to come to school if we don't think it's safe for them.
Right. You enjoy travel, and I know that whether it's cross-country travel or international travel, and last year you joined a delegation from West Springfield to go to Dingle, Ireland, to form a relationship with a sister city. Can you tell the folks at home a little bit about that relationship and maybe the influence of the Irish Cultural Center of Western Mass on that project?
Absolutely, and the Irish Cultural Center was really the catalyst that made that sister city, or as they call it in Ireland, the twinning relationship possible. But in West Springfield and in the kind of the greater region, about 22% of residents have Irish descent, which is quite a large number, especially here in West Springfield. And we wanted to kind of capitalize on that. And with the ICC coming in and having that, a lot of people in this area, especially West Springfield, are from the Blasket Islands and from the Dingle Peninsula. It made sense to kind of go over and build that relationship over there with them. And for the past, I believe 18 or 19 years, the Dingle Peninsula has had businesses come to the Big E and kind of sell their goods there and be a part of the community. So with those kind of 2-3 things together, it made sense to have that be our first sister city relationship, because we don't have any now. I hope to do more. A good excuse to travel.
Sure.
But that has those commercial and cultural ties are really what brought the two of us together. So when we went last year, and we're hoping to go again next year, to kind of really solidify the relationship, because first we kind of went over, did the dog and pony show. We went before our council, went before their council. We had all the stuff signed and we had our photos taken, which was great, and built those initial relationships, because we also have our students, or their students are coming over here in April.
Right.
Because our students have gone in the past. That was the initial step. The first day, hey, we've talked a lot. Nice to meet you in person, and I hope we can build this relationship. When we go next year, we're bringing businesses back with us to kind of really meet their businesses over there and see how we can work together. Less of the cultural, more of the economic relationship to make it really last. Because we don't want it to just be something we did for a photo op, then not have a real connection afterwards. Now, we're always going to have that cultural connection, but we want to make sure we can trade workers back and forth, students back and forth, so that everyone can kind of benefit in all different sectors from this hopefully great relationship.
Right. We appreciate the idea of deepening that relationship. And I know that the students here in West Springfield who have had those exchange opportunities have really enjoyed them. Mayor, it's been great to have you today. There's one last question, though, that I have to ask you, and that is, who would you like to see focused or sitting here in the spotlight in a future segment?
Well, that's tough. There's a lot of great people in the community, but I would encourage, especially because we just talked about the council and the upcoming role they play, but I would grab someone from the council. So maybe Sean Powers is a good idea. He came to me with Ireland too, and he's actually Irish. I'm German. But I think he'd play a great role, and he's also an attorney, so we all have something in common.
That's right.
But he's one of the newest counselors. At large was the highest vote getter, so I think he'd have a lot to add.
All right, so Sean Powers is it, I guess. Sean, you're officially on notice. It's been great being joined by Mayor Will Reichelt today for a segment of In the Spotlight. I hope everyone enjoys a safe and happy Thanksgiving holiday, and I look forward to seeing you soon.